Bulls take control of the market. Sensex logs biggest gain in a month, up 451 points. Nifty also gains 133 points to end at 6,189 levels. Empowering women, empowering India. Bharatiya Mahila Bank all set to be inaugurated tomorrow. That is 19th November. Will be the country's first all-women bank. Afghanistan's finance minister talks to DD News. Rolls out a red carpet for Indian investors. Says country is open for business. And who tweets the most? Saudi Arabia has the world's most active Twitter users. India ranks 21st in the world. Hello and welcome to Business Wrap on this cold Monday evening. I'm Sidhant Sibal. On to the top stories. The bulls finally took control of the market today after 2 weeks of negativity. The barometer index, S&P BSE Sensex and 50-unit CNX Nifty both hit their highest level in over 1 week. Sensex closed at 20,851 levels, up a whopping 451 points. And the Nifty closed up by 133 points at 6,189 levels, just 11 points short of the crucial 6,200 levels. Firmness in Asian stocks boosted sentiment. The market sentiment was also boosted by data showing that foreign funds remain net buyers of Indian stocks on Thursday. Foreign institutional investors brought shares worth a net 970 crore rupees on Thursday as per provisional data from stock exchanges. All the sectoral indices were in green, with capital goods, banks, FMCG and realty stocks leading the up move. The market breadth indicating the overall health of the market was positive. Shares of IT major Infosys hit 52-week high. Tata Steel extended Thursday's gains triggered by company reporting a turnaround in Q2 September 2013. Sensex has gained 3.25% in last 2 sessions. Top gainers on the chart were HDFC Bank, L&T, ITC, Hindalco and ONGC, which were up by between 4 to 3%. There were just 4 losers on the chart, that is SSLT, Coal India, Cipla and Bajaj Auto, which were down by about 1%. On to rupee. The rupee ended at 62.41, up 70 paise from Thursday's close. This is rupee's third day of gain. On to global market action. Asian stocks rose for a third day on Monday, with Chinese stocks among the top gainers after Beijing late Friday vowed to carry out the broadest expansion of economic freedoms since 1990s. Key benchmark indices in Taiwan, Hong Kong, China, Singapore, Indonesia and South Korea rose by between 0.05% to 2.73%. Japan's Nikkei 225 index fell marginally by 0.01%. European markets also edged higher on Monday, extending a 6-way winning streak. Key benchmark indices in UK, France and Germany rose by between 0.02% to 0.06%. Time for a short break, but after the break, we'll find out why the Afghan finance minister is in the town. Don't go away.
एक तरफ कोई देश की इज्जत के लिए जान दे रहा है, तो दूसरी तरफ कोई देश की इज्जत को नीलाम कर रहा है। एक तरफ कोई हमारी संस्कृति की परवरिश कर रहा है, तो दूसरी तरफ कोई उस संस्कृति का अपमान कर रहा है। एक तरफ कोई इस देश के नाम पर कालिख लगा रहा है, तो दूसरी तरफ कोई मेहनत और ईमानदारी से उसी नाम को संवार रहा है। आप किस तरफ हैं? देश का सर झुकाने की तरफ या फक्र से उसे उठाने की तरफ? गर्व कीजिए अपने भारतीय होने पर, take pride in being an Indian.
सुनो घंटी बजी स्कूल की, चलो स्कूल तुमको पुकारे। पल 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 रोशनी जो मिली स्कूल की, जगमगाओगे तुम बन के तारे।
सुनो घंटी बजी स्कूल की, चलो स्कूल तुमको पुकारे। पल 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 रोशनी जो मिली स्कूल की, जगमगाओगे तुम बन के तारे।
कॉपी और किताबें सारी
स्कूल देगा,
यूनिफॉर्म भी तुम्हारी।
स्कूल देगा।
स्कूल अब घर से दूर नहीं है,
हम हो गए फासले,
पहुंचोगे स्कूल के गेट पर तुम।
थोड़ा सा भी जो चले,
प्यार और नरमी से तुमको पढ़ाएंगे, टीचर है ऐसे भले।
सच 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 रीत अब है यही स्कूल की, कभी टीचर न बच्चों को मारे। सुनो घंटी बजी स्कूल की, चलो स्कूल तुमको पुकारे। लाइब्रेरी में जो पढ़ना हो,
स्कूल देगा, स्कूल देगा,
दोपहर में खाना भी तो
और स्कूल देगा, स्कूल देगा। पढ़ना भी है और है खेलना भी है, दोनों बातें यहाँ।
ध्यान उनका भी पूरा रखा गया है, ये जान ले लड़कियां।
वो जो पढ़ेंगी, जो आगे बढ़ेंगी, तो बदलेगा हिंदुस्तान।
घर 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 शिक्षा जब पहुंचेगी स्कूल की, शक्ति पाएंगे निर्बल भी सारे। सुनो घंटी बजी स्कूल की, चलो स्कूल तुमको पुकारे। चलो स्कूल तुमको पुकारे।
चलो स्कूल तुमको पुकारे, चलो स्कूल तुमको पुकारे।
शिक्षा मेरा अधिकार है।
Hi, welcome back. We're joined by market analyst Kunal Sarogi to talk about today's market action. Kunal, my first question is, what led to today's rally? The Sensex was up by more than 450 points.
Well, largely the rally is fueled by FII money and a lot of short covering because markets were down for the last several days. So what we see now is a short covering rally in the markets. Plus, I think most technical indicators point to markets being very oversold. So this is a technical bounce that you would expect after a sustained downtrend that we saw last few days. So I think it's largely markets catching up.
So you think the bulls are back in control of the market, given the fact that in last 9 sessions, 7 sessions, the markets closed in red, and there was huge euphoria after Murat trading that the Sensex will cross some level after in somewhat 2070.
Well, I would imagine so, given that markets have actually managed to close above 6109, which is a major resistance level. And if you look at the buying interest today, we saw very sustained buying in some very substantial stocks. So I think that the rally might well continue, and you might see higher levels on the Nifty going forward.
And you expect the trend to continue? We think we have lost Kunal. On to our next story, which is good news for all the women in the country. Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh and UPA chairperson Sonia Gandhi will inaugurate country's first all-women Bharatiya Mahila Bank in Mumbai on November 19th, the birth anniversary of former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. With the inauguration of the bank, 7 branches would become operational across the country, including Kolkata, Chennai, Ahmedabad and Guwahati. Headquartered in Delhi, the bank proposes to have 25 branches by March 31st, 2014. It will be inaugurated in Mumbai as the Model Code of Conduct is in force in Delhi, which is going to polls in December. In Budget 2013-14, the Finance Minister had announced setting up of all-women bank with an initial capital of 1,000 crore rupees. Earlier this week, the government appointed Usha Ananta Subramanian as the chairperson and managing director of the bank. Rolling a red carpet for Indian investors, Afghanistan's finance minister today said that the country is open for business, an atmosphere there is cordial for businesses to thrive. He also said that mining law being passed by Afghan parliament will be the best in the region. Remember, mining companies from India to Britain to China are making plans to unearth the country's massive mineral deposits, including gold, copper and iron ore, after international combat troops pull out by the end of 2014. With me is the Finance Minister of Afghanistan. Sir, welcome to Doordarshan News. My first and brief question is, sir, what message will you give it to the Indian investor? Why should they come to Afghanistan and invest there?
Well, the Indian investors already know about the business opportunities in Afghanistan, whether those are in agriculture sector, trade and transit, construction, mineral resources in particular. But what they want to hear is a message about the future of Afghanistan. In the message I want to give to the Indian business people is that the future of Afghanistan beyond 2014-15 is a future of stability.
But there have been two major problems. One is the security problem, and another is the corruption problem. You have publicly lashed out for against 6 ministers of in the parliament. So how do you plan to control these two big problems?
Well, Afghanistan has a nascent, let's say, institutions. So certain with those institutions there are certain weaknesses, but as we move forward they improve. But when it comes to businesses, we made sure, I think we have probably the most liberal policy in the region.
So what happened to the mining law which was being talked about, and how will...
It is in the parliament and it's going to be passed by the parliament, certainly hardly debated, but at the end it will come through and it will probably the best lie in the region.
Sir, Afghanistan is bestowed with huge mineral resources. How do you plan to develop them with international help? We know the Hajigak mines and...
It is the private sector that will develop. All we need is to facilitate, to make sure that they come, they are attracted, they are given privileges, and they will come and develop it, and that's how we will do it.
So my last and final question is that the international forces are going to leave Afghanistan soon. How do you think it will impact the economy of your country?
It's not going to impact it adversely, as they withdraw. Their support is with us, financial support for security forces, financial support for development, but at the same time we will be transforming from an independent country to a country that depends more on private investment, on private sector and all that, and that's already happening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
So that was the Finance Minister of Afghanistan talking exclusively with Doordarshan News. With camera person Jakpal, this is Sidhant, Sibal, DD News, New Delhi. So Afghan Finance Minister rolling out the red carpet for Indian investors. On to our next story. If you thought countries like US or UK lead the list as far as the number of active Twitter users are concerned, think again. The real reason may surprise some, but a study has found that Saudi Arabia has the world's largest active Twitter users. If you were wondering how India fares, then it's on 21st spot in the list. More in this report.
In an unexpected finding, Saudis have emerged as the world's largest active Twitter users, while Indians ranked among the lowest Twitters on the microblogging site. According to Peer Reach, one-third or 32% of the Saudis' online population are active monthly Twitter users. However, countries such as India, Nigeria and Germany seem to have very little to tweet, with only 1% active Twitter users in each nation. Interestingly, US, the home of the microblogging platform, ranks 8th on the list. The top 5 countries are non-English speaking nations, with Saudi Arabia having over 32% active Twitter users. China is not listed because Twitter is banned from China, and therefore the Chinese microblogging platform Weibo has no competition. The top 10 countries with highest active monthly users of Twitter are Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Spain, Venezuela, Argentina, UK, Netherlands, US, Japan and Colombia.
But you can start tweeting more, especially at DD News Live around the clock, which gives you latest news from the world of sport, business and politics. Now to our next story. Dubai Air Show is all set to create an aviation history of sorts. On the opening day of the Dubai Air Show, a record $192 billion worth of orders were placed, with the Gulf carriers dominating. Meanwhile, fierce rivals Airbus and Boeing locked horns in a battle for lucrative airline orders, mainly from fast-growing Gulf carriers. More in this report.
Gulf Airlines placed orders for new aircraft worth more than $150 billion at the Dubai Air Show, providing a boost for both Boeing, which launched a new jet at the event, and the Airbus. Visitors to the air show viewed rows of passengers and fighter jets, while planes flew in formation above the venue. Demand for Boeing's new jet came from the Emirates airline, Etihad Airlines and Qatar Airways, and the manufacturer announced commitments for a total of 259 of the 777 jet.
The combined value of the commitments is almost $100 billion at list prices, making it the largest product launch in commercial jetliner history.
Dubai-based Emirates lead the spending spree with an order of 150 of Boeing's new Mini Jumbo in a deal worth $76 billion at list price. It also ordered 50 Airbus A380s, the world's biggest passenger plane, worth $23 billion. Qatar Airways also announced a deal with Boeing. The revamped 777 marks a new front in the battle between Boeing and the Airbus, the two aircraft manufacturers that dominate the civil aviation industry.
The signing of this deal marks a very exciting new milestone in aviation history. Today's agreement is the fifth A380 order from Emirates, and this is by far the largest with 50 aircraft, which brings the total of A380 orders to 140.
Emirates' A380 order was a lift for the Airbus, which is under pressure to revive the fortunes of a plane that previously hadn't found any buyers this year and faces a cut in output unless empty 2015 production slots can be filled. Emirates is already the biggest customer of the A380s, and its order for 50 more was the top end of expectations. Business Desk, DD News.
Now on to more biz stories of the day. Rating agency Fitch today said that the Indian government will have to depend on its budget for the financial year ending March 2015 to fund a part of the oil subsidies bill for the current financial year. The government allocated 65,000 crore rupees for petroleum subsidies in financial year 14, of which 45,000 crore rupees was used to pay oil marketing companies for the subsidy gap incurred in the previous financial year. Rating agency Moody's has maintained its negative outlook on India's banking system, reflecting the negative effect of currency volatility, persistent inflation and slowing economic growth. Asset quality will continue to deteriorate, particularly for public sector banks. At the same time, profitability will likely to remain weak, limiting internal capital generation. Indian workers are among the most satisfied with their jobs globally, and nearly 1 in 5 Indians like their jobs so much that they would even work for free, says a survey. According to a survey by online career and recruitment solution provider Monster Worldwide and GFK, over half of Indian workforce love or like their jobs a lot, placing Indians at third position in international happiness ranking behind Canada and Netherlands. Workers at Japan's Fukushima nuclear plant has begun removing fuel rods from a storage pond at the Unit 4 reactor building. The delicate operation is seen as a necessary step in stabilizing the site. It will take more than 2 days to remove the first 22 fuel rods assemblies. When the tsunami struck in 2011, water knocked out cooling systems to 3 of the Fukushima's reactors, which went into state of partial meltdown. Leading search engine companies Google and Microsoft have agreed measures to make it harder to find a child abuse image online. As many as 100,000 search items will return no results that find illegal materials and will trigger warning that child abuse imagery is illegal. The restrictions will initially apply to English-speaking countries but will be expanded to the rest of the world and 158 other languages within 6 months. Mount Etna, Europe's most active volcano, has erupted again, lighting up the sky over much of eastern Sicily and shooting up a towering column of ash. The eruption, which began late Saturday and tapered off Sunday morning, didn't endanger any of the village dotting the mountain slope, and no evacuation was ordered. Etna erupts occasionally. Its last major eruption occurred in 1992. The Reserve Bank has designated 29 bank branches, including public and private banks, to collect income tax data payment in advance of the due date to avoid last-minute rush towards a March end. State Bank of India, ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank, Allahabad Bank, Punjab National Bank, Oriental Bank of Commerce, Bank of Baroda are among the bank branches that have been designated to collect these advances from tax assessees. And concerns over large-scale discrepancies in mandatory disclosures by listed firms, SEBI today tightened its regulations in this regard and asked bosses to put in place a strong mechanism with additional manpower to monitor adequacy and accuracy of such disclosures. The company would also have to provide details of their promoters, directors, and or key management personnel who would be held responsible for ensuring compliance with the disclosure norms, while stock exchanges have been asked to publish these details on their website in case of defaults. Dying form of Indian traditional art, puppetry, gets a fresh breath of life and entertains children at the famed Pushkar Fair in Rajasthan.
Artists showed their talent of puppetry and brought back the traditional Rajasthan art form to the minds of the people at the Pushkar Fair in Rajasthan's Ajmer town. The puppet show attracted visitors, especially children, as it was clubbed with Rajasthani folk music.
अब तो थोड़ी वक्त है, पहले तो ये हमारी जो कला थी ये मर गई थी। अब गवर्नमेंट ने इस कला को पांचा जीवन दिया है, तो गवर्नमेंट ने हमारे मदद कर रहे हैं और हमारी कठपुतली कला को चला रहे हैं।
The traditional form of Rajasthani theatre, showcased at the road shows conducted across the country, provided an opportunity to artisans to make a quick buck. Apart from being a major tourist spot, the fair attracts hundreds of animal traders and buyers from neighbouring states as well. Cattle traders and tourists park themselves for days in the sand dunes to attend one of the most photogenic festivals in the small temple town on the edge of the desert state. Bureau Report, DD News.
Well, time for repeat headlines. Bulls take control of the market. Sensex logs biggest gain in a month, up 451 points. Nifty also gains 133 points to end at 6,189 levels. Empowering women, empowering India. Bharatiya Mahila Bank, all set to be inaugurated tomorrow. That is November 19th. Will be the country's first all-women bank. Afghanistan's finance minister talks to DD News, rolls out red carpet for Indian investors, says country is open for business. And who tweets the most? Saudi Arabia has the world's most active Twitter users. India ranks 21st in the world. Well, that's all in this edition of Business Wrap. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.